All right. And so, also when this person met this person or knew this person, or if they met you afterwards, they might not have talked about you, or they might not have told you about this other person who might have been around. People may have known around this person, not necessarily around you, but people around this person may have known that there was two people or something like that. But this person was afraid that either you would find out about this other person or this other person would find out about you. So already they didn't really look at things for how they were. What they should have done is picked someone and then decided how they, figured out how they fit into being with that person. Instead, what they did was they may not even have picked. I was about to say they picked somebody who they thought, would be the best, the best for them, like the best choice, like they couldn't find anybody better. But I don't know that they even picked. It might have been picked for them. Somebody might have taken over this person, maybe even after you met them. Yeah, you're not the only one. I don't know that they were necessarily doing the stray cat strat. I don't necessarily know that they were looking to have more than one person in their, in their love life. And I mean, they could have been, this devil card is here. But I think that ultimately they definitely got themselves into a situation that they didn't anticipate. Yeah, I think this deck is done talking. I'm going to grab the other one. And then before they knew it, I keep getting like 12 years. Before they knew it, 12 years had gone by. Or 12 months, but I'm getting a long time. It could have been 5 years. It could have been, I don't know. But a long time. Like I said, to the point where you've forgotten about this person. Wow. This person who was like with someone else when they were with you, or met someone else when they were with you, or met you when they were with someone else, they're completely broken. Someone tried to mold this person into something, and they did. They tried to do it by breaking down and building them back up again, but they never built them back up. They even if they were going to do it in a way that was toxic, like they just didn't do it. They sort of just left them on the floor and just kind of gave them a hard time. Like just kind of kicked them when they were down sort of energy. That's why they look like that. That's why they look so old. Somebody wore them out. Tormented them emotionally. And the reason why this person is popping up in your reading is because they remember you. They remember that decision that they made, that consciously they walked away from you. They remember that. And it's kind of almost like when you go back on your life and you're like, how, like, oh, that was the moment. That was the moment that I screwed things up. Like that, when I made that decision. And this person, by the way, may have been trying to make that decision for some time and thought they were doing the right thing, and maybe even in haste made the decision because they weren't making the decision way back then. So this isn't fair. I need to just make a decision, and then made the wrong decision or was forced into making another decision. Again, this person, this Queen of Wands, is asserting themselves very heavily in this reading. So again, this person may have broken your heart on the way out the door, but you may not have known that there was another person on the other side of that door. And sometimes we're like, why is it so important that they get out of this now? And we don't realize that the urgency is because someone else is standing on the other side of the door, like Sonic the Hedgehog, tapping their foot. This person, the mistake that they made, they see it. That card says breaking out to see you. And they also know what happened. They saw what happened to them after they made this action. And they've been caught in a weird cycle that at first they thought they just had to endure something. And then they realized that, like the circus never ends. And I feel like this is karma. I feel like part of this is because of this devil card and making decisions that weren't necessarily good for them. They may even, like I said, purposely, willingly gone off with this person who broke them down and kept them in cycles because they did. This other person may have been breadcrumbing them or giving them some kind of very cold energy to the point where they had put this person in some sort of chase mode, right? And then also maybe even fear of not going with this person. This person may have some kind of somehow like bullied or blackmailed this person. And I've heard this before in other readings. I've never had it. And this might actually be you. Again, especially if you don't really remember this person, like if you have to search your memory and go, oh yeah, there was one guy that I just thought he was like awesome, and then he like showed me his it's so weird. I got this vision of David Duchovny, and the funny thing about it is, like, he was, I don't know what he looks like now, but he was so sexy, right? But then he kind of comes out with this like, oh, I was addicted to sex. And then, he does like Californication, which kind of like puts him and it paints him in this way that's not like as admirable or not as like, good. And then you kind of just go, ugh, or you can't even watch it. Like you can't even take it. And I feel like that's kind of like what this is. Like you were looking at this person like they were Adonis, and then like you turned around and then you like saw Frodo. Not Frodo. Which one is the slinky one that keeps trying to get the ring? I just, honestly, and then some of you don't feel that way. Some of you, you can feel this person's energy. You know what's going on with them. It may or may not have been a while, but you're like, no. Especially because they might be visiting you in your dreams. And you may even have been going through some of this. You may be feeling everything, some of you. You know exactly who I'm talking about. And you know exactly who's involved, some of you. So, yeah, I feel like this person wants to come back because they're realizing it's weird. It's kind of like they're kind of looked up and went, oh my God, I'm with this person. Well, who are they with? Like almost worried about what you chose, or maybe even if, you didn't choose and you're single, right? They're like, oh my God, who's going to step forward? I can't. And so, yeah, this person, this person might be coming towards you after a really long time. I'm not getting a malicious energy. The devil is on the table. I feel like this is bad decisions made. This person paid for it. I feel like bad decisions were made because they had a belief system. So they weren't, if you judge a book by its cover, you might like think of somebody as toxic, and they may have been, but not necessarily more toxic than anyone else. And so when you really look at them and you see like kind of like why they made the decisions that they made, you kind of still see like the wholesome, the person inside. Some of these men were like this. They were taken advantage of. They didn't have the smarts to realize that women could be like that. Or someone might have been like love bombing them. And so they just really felt loved for a hot second and then sort of just meandered in that direction. I have a hard time believing that only because of this energy of throwing a fit if you don't buy me the thing that I want. But the thing is it doesn't mean when situations are like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't love involved. And so this person there may have been love involved. and a desire to take care of someone until they had spent so much taking care of someone. They were kind of like, why, I'm not this person's parent. Why do I have to do it? Or something to that, and even to the possibility that they weren't getting anything back at one point. So maybe somebody was shown something, but then after, when things changed, then they were shown something different, and then they realized where they were, and then they couldn't get out of it at that time. But I don't see any necessarily running energy. I kind of see them making decisions and then kind of wanting to come towards you, seeing what's going on, and then like I said, realizing what they did that totally screwed everything up, and then trying to figure out how to undo that, which is how most people, again, who don't want to make the same mistake twice, that's what they do. They figure out where they made the mistake, and then they act accordingly to reverse that. And then they don't have to, they're in a position where they understand how not to get themselves in that situation again. This is what needs to happen for this person to come to you, because otherwise there's all this stuff in their energy field that you don't want them to bring to your situation. Again, this person was on some kind of weird horse to decide to pick the other person to begin with. I'm hearing dark horse. I don't have that card. But, you're kind of yeah, I'm over here, playing Cinderella, waiting for somebody, Rapunzel, whoever whoever I decide I want to be, whatever Disney princess I want to be, right? Until that person comes. And, this other person is no one's coming. I'm coming. I'm done with this cycle. They may not be coming right now again. If they've been gone for a while, they may not know how to approach you. Some of them will just come in. Some of them do know how to approach people no matter what. Some of them have lost their edge. So even if if you remember them a certain way, and they don't just come barging through your door with the key that they still have, it's a possibility that there's a reason why. So, just keep in mind, I'm probably going to say in every single video, you need to know where this person's energy is if you're going to let them into your energy field. You need to understand that if they're bringing something negative that you don't necessarily agree with or want in your energy field, that you might need to either put a stop to that or create some type of boundaries to make sure that your experience on this planet doesn't change because you're talking to somebody new. And, I saw another card I wanted to address. Where is it? Justice. It's a possibility that this person won't be able to approach you because they won't be in a spot where they'll be allowed to approach you because of the work that you've done versus the work that they've done. If they're still in this energy here and you're not, it's a possibility that they may have to, magician themselves out of that to get themselves into the point where they're in the vibration of what you're in. The card for the ending and the new beginning is on the table. We have that death card all the way over there that's just really far away right now. I'm not going to go for, but, it's the energy is there to have something new with this person, but I'll probably keep saying it. You're going to have to figure out where they are so that you understand what they're bringing to you, good and bad. They're not the same person they were when they were with you or when you knew them, and neither are you. So keep that in mind if you're going to try to create a situation with them. I'm not taking this as a reflection card. I'm taking this as being a run through the ringer card. So just keep that in mind. Protect your energy. Protect your energy from energy that you don't want. If you don't want to think about it in terms of protecting yourself from people, then protect yourself from the energy that they're willing to bring to you, because you're going to have to do this for a while. People aren't monitoring what they're doing, and they're succumbing to their emotions. And in cases where they believe that love is on the table, even if they've been gone for a while, and they think it's romantic to show up with all this toxicity, you're going to have to tell them, I'm sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service until they get their crap together. So keep that in mind until next time.